welcome back. Today we're going to do an old family recipe, and I've done it before I think on my channel, not sure, but we're going to be doing it again today. It's the perfect budget type recipe. It's called goulash. Some people call it American chop suey, I think, but we're from the South. It's called goulash. I don't know if that's everywhere, but here for sure, down south, that's what it's called. I went ahead and I cooked my hamburger meat or ground beef and drained it. And I've also cooked elbow macaroni and drained that. I'm going to just make a small batch, but I wanted to show you how I do it. It's very minimal. We don't do tons and tons of sauce. I do have like this little small can of tomato sauce if I feel like it's not soupy enough. But mainly it's noodles, meat, some canned tomatoes, and some spices, and that's it. And it's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and start right now with just the meat. I've already cooked the noodles, like I said, drained those and set those aside, but I don't want them to get anything past al dente. You don't want them mushy. So that needs to be like added in the last couple of minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner on, but I'm gonna turn it way low because everything's cooked. We're just trying to get everything warmed up at this point. So I put my drained hamburger meat back in. I've added a can of diced tomatoes. You can cook onion with the ground beef, but I'm just going to use my onion powder. You're going to need a good bit of that, at least 2 teaspoons, because you want to have that onion flavor. And some pepper, as much as you would like, and salt. So what I'm gonna do is just add my macaroni. I don't need to cook it for long, so I'm gonna stand here and stir it up. Okay, so as you can see, it kind of looks like it needs more sauce because it just looks like macaroni and meat put together, nothing else. So what we're gonna probably do is go ahead and open up this can of tomato sauce and add a little bit of water as well. Now this is just a small 8-ounce can. Normally I would add a bigger can, but it all depends on how much of this you're making. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of water, about 4 ounces worth. Whatever tomato sauce you add, do half of that in water. One thing that my mother did not use, which I've told y'all before, y'all need to have this in your pantry. Bay leaves. And you're really not going to leave the stove because this literally just has to warm up, and you don't want it to burn or get too soft or anything like that. And this is really good with cornbread, but I'm going to try to make some garlic bread to go with it, or some garlic toast. And just remember how many bay leaves you add. You don't really need but just a few. I had just a couple of small ones, so I just put those in. 2 large ones would be enough. Just make sure you take them out. They're not going to hurt you if you eat them, but they're not going to taste good. Another great idea for feeding your family on the budget is if you shop at Walmart, they always have their bread marked down from their bakery. So I try to always check that at least. Well, I go to the grocery store once a week, so every week I try to kind of check over there before I buy anything that I'm going to need a lot of. They had these baguettes over there. They were $1.19 a pack, and there were 2 in each pack. I sliced them, put my garlic salt and my butter in the little slices, and now I'm wrapped them in foil, and I'm fixing to put them under the broiler to finish melting the butter and everything. And it's gonna be garlic bread to go with our goulash. So, and it literally, these are 2 baguettes, 2 packs of baguettes. So $2.60 or so, right here. So it didn't, $2.40. So it didn't cost much just to add bread to the, it would have been cheaper if I would have just made the bread I already had at home, just some sandwich bread or something like that. But if I want to do something a little bit more different, I do have room in my budget for that because the goulash that I made came straight from the stockpile or the pantry. So I didn't need to go buy anything. I already had all the stuff for that. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. I put my bread in there with it. It was done in just a few minutes, low under the broiler. And that's it. We're done with our little less than $5 meal. It was easy and everybody's gonna love it. We are going to make beef and noodles. And the first thing you need to start with is your broth. This is 2.5 cups of beef broth, and I added also a chicken bouillon cube to this. So we need to help get our little sauce thing going. A teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce or soy sauce, a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I don't have my dried thyme. All I have is ground, which is not the same. So I'm only going to do a little bit less than what the recipe calls for. And then you also need a half a teaspoon of ground mustard. You're going to set it aside. And then we're going to move back over to the stove and start our roux. You need to make some beef tips or some ground beef, about 1 pound's worth. And go ahead and just cook those in the skillet with some onion. It's basically beef stroganoff. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of flour. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents. So, little bits at a time. So first start with about 1/2 cup or so. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more. And that's what you're wanting to do. You just keep adding the liquid until it's completely absorbed into the flour mixture. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover. And you will need to boil some egg noodles for this. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more. It's starting to bubble just a little bit. Scale the world in halves as we go. Okay, go ahead and add the rest of your sauce. Alright, so it's starting to boil, so I'm going to cut my heat back just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the things we need for our sauce. You need a can of cream and mushroom soup. You need 1/2 cup of milk or cream, either one. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of extra garlic powder instead of minced garlic.
Brand new street and brand new me. Side by friends I need. Don't you tell me that you're in town already.
The next thing that you need to add after you add the cream or milk and the mushroom soup is you're going to have to add about 2 cups of cheddar.
Let's be honest, sounds like home. Still I'm here alone and I'm calling your phone. I wish I could wipe my own memory out. I wish I could dream about somebody else. I wish I could talk when the silence so loud. I wish,
Go ahead and add your meat. Also, If you didn't add that extra garlic powder, now would be the time. And you can put a little salt and pepper in here as well. We use light salt because we're watching our blood pressure, but there's that. And some extra pepper. I will put this together and show you what it looks like. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. I did add some frozen peas in with it. I always keep a bag of those in the freezer just for things like this where I just want to add a little bit of vegetable, not too much, just a little accent. It helps color it, but I mean, really, it just gives it a little bit more, you know, more vegetables, some vegetable in there instead of just straight up pasta, and that's all. And I did add the noodles, as you can see, and it turned out perfect. Perfect amount of sauce versus noodles, everything. Make sure that you like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you next time.